Right, let's start today's session. So, in the last session, we were discuss about Python introduction and what is Python, where do we use exactly Python, and using Python, what kind of applications we can develop, and what are the versions of Python, and what software is required to work with Python. We discussed in the last session. Okay, so today we'll discuss how to get Python software and how to download and install and where we can write Python code exactly. Which editor I'm going to use in Python, we'll discuss clearly. Okay. So today we'll see that how to work with Python software means what is Python, what software is required for Python programs. And there are so many editors are there, but I'll tell you clearly which editor through I'm going to discuss all these sessions. We'll discuss. So as I said that Python is cross-platform or platform independent. Means once we write Python code on one platform, we can able to execute in different platforms also. No problem at all. So it can be able to work with Windows and it can be able to work with Linux or Unix and it can be able to work with other operating systems also. It's a cross-platform or platform independent. We can say that. So I request. Hello, I request you to meet from your side, all of you. Please try to consider this. If you have any doubts, you can type in the chat box, okay, or else you can speak with me at the end of the session. I'll give some time, okay? Yes. So to work with Python programs, first of all, I asked you to download Python software. For downloading Python software, where we should go? You said simply go to Google and type download Python. Download Python. So whenever you type download Python, you can see this. There is an official website address that is link is there. That is www.python.org. You just click on download python.org. Once you click on this link, you will be able to connect official website for Python. So this is the latest version which I discussed in the last session, versions of Python. Like this is the latest version which I'm going to cover. What new things are available in this version also I'll explain you with practical implementation. Python 3.9.0. As soon as when we click on download Python 3.9.0, this is the first step for making your setup. Yes, those who wants to write Python script or Python programs, this is the first and initial step you must and should do. Okay, so I'm requesting to download Python 3.9.0. Once you download, then this will be available like Python 3.9.0.exe file. Once if it is .exe file ready, then you just click on this and open it, or else you can go to download folder from your computer. So now you can see, let's go to download option here. There is a downloads are there. You can see this Python 3.9.0 64-bit operating system directly it is available here. Once it is available .exe file, what we need to do, just double click on this Python 3.9.0.exe file. Nothing to do, just double click on it. Okay. Once you double click on it, now you can see here it is showing in my computer modify setup. Why it is showing modify setup here? Because already I installed in my computer Python 3.9.0. But in your computer for the first time when we do, there are two options are there. Two options are visible. So what are the two options? I'll tell you now. So install now, then customize installation. So as soon as when we double click on Python 3.9.0.exe file in your computer, in the dialog box, two options you are able to see that. One option is install now. Another option is customized installation. Customize installation. Customize install. So I strongly recommend to do install now. But before going to click on install now option, okay, so there is a checkbox. There is a checkbox in the dialog box, checkbox. So add path, add Python path is there. There is a add Python path. You have to activate that checkbox. Okay. Here I can't able to show you, but for sure that once we download Python 3.9.0.exe file, first time when we double click on it, you will be able to get some dialog box with two options. One option is install now, another option is customize install. But before going to click on install now, so I strongly recommend to activate the checkbox. Their checkbox will be clearly visible there in that window only. So you have to activate that add Python path. Once if you activate the path, then checkbox, then you just click on install now. Nothing to do. Just install now one time. It will ask you to next 2, 3 times. You can click on next. Then within 1 minute of time, your Python software will be ready. Okay. So that means you finished first step of Python software installation. That is Python successfully installed in your computer now. But once we install Python software, like as I said, these steps, what editor will come by default? Yes, editor is required. What editor will come by default means that by default editor will come, that is Python IDLE. So IDLE of Python. Okay, IDLE of Python will come. IDLE stands for Integrated Development Learning Environment. So for the first time when we are going to install this Python software, by default one editor will come, and that editor name is called IDLE, Integrated Development Learning Environment, we can say that. So how to open Python software after successful installation? Simple. You can go to search, and there you can type Python. There you can type Python. Now you can see once we got Python, so we have two versions are there in my computer, ideally of 3.8. But if you want to go for 3.9, so first you can type ideally in search box. Now you can see Python ideally 3.9 software is there. Just click on this ideally icon. You will be able to open Python 3.9.0 cell. You can see this 3.9.0 here. This is the latest version. What is this, sir? This is just nothing but Python interactive cell. Yes, this is interactive mode only. So interactive mode is nothing but what I'll tell you. Just wait. So there are few ways to write Python script and execute. I will tell you all options. Which option is suitable for you? Then you can go through that. So first option is using interactive cell, using interactive mode. That we can say that. In what way we can able to write Python code? All the possible ways I am going to discuss. But finally, I'll tell you I'm going to choose, I'm going to fix with one platform, one editor. What editor I'm going to fix, that I'll tell you. And throughout all our classes will happen through that editor only. Which editor is I strongly recommend, I'll tell you now. So using interactive mode, this is the first way. Next one is using script mode. Second option we have. Next third option using Python ideally. Fourth option using PyCharm editor. PyCharm. This is the editor which I'm going to continuously use in our session. PyCharm editor. Yes. Even I strongly recommend to download and install PyCharm editor only. I'll tell you how to download and install PyCharm editor also. First, let's work with PyCharm using interactive mode. Using interactive mode means first we have to install Python software. As soon as when we install Python software, you will when we go through Python ideally, you can say this, when we go to search and type ideally, and you will click on ideally of Python. You just click on that, and as soon as when we click over there, then we will get this Python ideally interactive mode. This is interactive mode. So in interactive mode, what is required here? Just interact with this window, and whatever you want to write code, you can type it and interact with that. Hello, I want to type, then press enter, then automatically your output is coming. Or else, like you can see A value 10 I'm taking, B value 20. If you want to add two numbers, A plus B, press enter, you got output clear. So this is what interactive cell. In this interactive cell, you need not to prepare complete Python code, and you need not to save it anywhere. Directly just interact with your inputs and press enter. immediately you will get execution part complete, then you'll get output also clearly here. This is called interactive window. So just keep on interacting with this window, and as soon as when we interact with this window while giving your inputs, and once we enter that, you will get output also requested input through. So here I'm taking a value 10, but you can see this, I said that in the last session, Python is dynamically typed programming language. That's the reason while assigning a value to this variable, you need not to define any data type like int or float or something, because it's a dynamically typed programming language. Understand? So you can see a value 10, a I'm printing, so directly value is coming. But if you want to know that which data type is assigned for this a variable, there is a type function is there, type of a. So we got integer type. At the same time, if I go for a equals to 23.4, it's a float type. So you will able to see that type of a means it's a float type only here. Okay. Even you can say that I'm giving string. So what type it is, if you want to know type of a means string type it is, string type it is coming. So this is interactive window. Do you want to write like this? You can write it, no problem. This is also possible. One basic way of writing Python script like this interactive mode. But next mode is script mode. Script mode is nothing but what? So I don't want to go through interactive mode because I want to write my complete program at once, and I need to save with the .py extension. Later I can able to execute whenever it is required for that. At that point of time, we can use script mode. Script mode means you have to choose any editor like Notepad or Notepad++, Edit Plus, any editor, even PyCharm editor, Python ideally. You can try to complete your script, and after completion of your Python script, you must and should save with the .py extension. Yes, all Python programs will have the .py extension. How to write the code in script mode and how to execute, how to save it, I'll tell you. This is second option. You have to write in this way. Script mode purpose, I'm going to choose one normal plain editor like Notepad editor. I'm going to open Notepad. This is my Notepad editor. I'm trying to write print. Here, print is a built-in function in Python. It is an output purpose only, not for input. Output means what you want to display in the console window or command prompt window, that output is going to display through print function. Print. So I am writing this, welcome to durgasoft, welcome to durgasoft. So I am showing that this is Python script. But when it will become Python script means you have to save this file with .py, then only it will become Python script. Because all programs, Python programs will have the extension called .py only. So print of welcome to durgasoft, and after completion of your Python script, so just for example, I took this only one statement. If you want, you can write more statements also. Let me save with this file menu, go to save. And how do we save this? I'm going to save in my desktop as per my convenient way to access. I'm trying to give file name called test.py must and should give. Here .py is the extension of Python file. So test.py, where I'm saving in my desktop, just click on save. After save, then you just close this one, no problem. You can see this, what is happening here. Test.py was saved in my desktop. So it is clearly shows this logo indicates this is a Python file. Okay. Now your script mode is ready. Your script is completed. Next step is what, sir? I want to execute this script. How do we execute this script? There are two options you have again for executing this test.py script. What are the two options? You will see now. One option is I can show you through command prompt. Let's go to command prompt. It is normal command prompt like Windows operating system command prompt. Just go to command prompt. And in this command prompt, you can see this. You have to move to your location first. Where is your location? Your test.py is present in which location? Desktop. So we have to move to desktop first. CD space desktop. CD means change directory. Press enter. So now you are in desktop only. After that, we need to execute this test.py. So to execute this test.py, then we can pass the command called Python. Python means I'm passing the command called Python. Just I want to execute with this Python code only. Python space. What is your file name? Test.py. Python space test.py. We are going to execute. So when we go for this one, now you can see, welcome to durgasoft, it's coming. So we are executing like this one. Or else we have option called py space test.py also. Both are working fine. Py space test.py. So welcome to durgasoft. Either you can go for this command like python space test.py or py space test.py. This is one way to execute Python code. Write the code in Notepad and save with .py and load that code into a command prompt for execution. This is one option is there. But another way also we can execute this same script file, already available file. If you want to load or if you want to execute in different way, like anyway we are having Python ideally software, no? So let's open this Python ideally software. As soon as when we open, it will open in script mode only, in interactive mode only. But I don't want to write in interactive mode, so I want to write in I want to execute already available file. If you want to execute already available file, then you can go to file menu and open the file where it is available. You can search that file where it is available. So on desktop, I have a file. So let's move to desktop here and select this test.py file and just click on open. So now you can see it's going to be available. Welcome to durgasoft. If you want to execute this one, you can go to run menu and click on run module. Once you click on run module, you got output called welcome to durgasoft in interactive shell only. Okay, this is another option. So which we can able to run this Python script. There are two ways to execute your Python code after writing script. That is either you can go through command prompt or you can go through ideally software. So this is interactive mode, script mode, means all possible ways I'm telling what how the way you have to write the code and how the way you need to execute the code. But sir, I don't want to go for interactive mode or else I don't want to write script mode also. Why don't you go for directly Python ideally software? Why don't we create a new file instead of writing code in Notepad? Yes, no need to go to Notepad every time and there we need not to write any script. Directly you can go to Python ideally software. There also you can write script preparation. Like you can say this as soon as when we type ideally, so you will prompt to interactive cell only. If you want to write in interactive mode, you can keep on type from here. Or else if you want to create a new file, then you can go to file menu. Here only I'm trying to create a new file. You just see this new file option. And just I want to write the logic here, a value 10, b value 20, then print a plus b I'm taking. This is my script. But make sure that after completion of your Python script, you have to save it compulsory. But without saving, when we try to run this one by going to run menu and run module, then it will ask you to source must be saved, okay to save. Okay, so it will ask you to save compulsory. So let me save that again. So how to save that? File menu, save option, and I'm going to save again in my desktop. Let's go to select desktop and I'm giving this time now file name is different, test1.py. Save it. Once we save it, then you can run it and run. You got 30 value because a value 10 and b value 20, print a plus b 30 value, it's coming. Okay, this is the options we have, but I'll not go through any one of these options which I explained so far. In our complete session, I'll never go to interactive mode, I'll never go to script mode, I'll never go to Python ideally, but which I'm going through PyCharm editor. So this is the best editor for Python beginners. Okay, apart from PyCharm editor, there are so many editors also there. Like if you want to write code in Notepad, Edit Plus, NetBeans, Eclipse, Visual Studio Code, these editors are not exclusively Python editors. These editors are normal editors, open editors, like any programming language script you can write over there. But Python ideally and PyCharm editors are exclusively for Python programming part. But even apart from PyCharm editors, people will use like different editors like Jupyter, Spider, Atom, okay, Anaconda distribution. That kind of editors also required. But I'll show you in my sessions Jupyter Notebook, okay, Spider also there, Atom also there. That I will show you in the data analysis part because Jupyter and Spider is most effective editors for data science and data analysis, not for not Python programs. Even you can write normal Python programs in Jupyter Notebook and Spider also. But convenient way, if you want to write Python code, then best option is PyCharm editor. PyCharm is the best editor for Python programmers, especially for beginners. Okay, so I'm going to tell you how to write code in PyCharm editor, and from now onwards, I'll continue with PyCharm editor only. So our editor tool is PyCharm editor tool. But look at here, once I download Python software and install, PyCharm editor will get by default? No, it will not get. So when we install Python software and when we download Python software and install, you will only get a basic ideally, that is Python ideally only will get. This editor only will get here. This is basic editor or standard editor. But if you want to work with PyCharm editor, what we need to do? Additionally, separately, how to install this PyCharm editor? How do we download and install this PyCharm editor? These steps you need to follow. Now you can see this. Go to Google again, type download PyCharm editor, download PyCharm, PyCharm. So as soon as when we click on download PyCharm, so there is official link for PyCharm editor also. You can see this www.jetbrains.com is there. Jetbrains.com. JetBrain is the official website for PyCharm editor. So PyCharm editor was developed by JetBrains community only. You just click on this link. Once you click on this link, you will have two options in front of you. Now you can see professional edition, professional option is there, and community edition is there. I strongly recommend to you to download community version, not professional. Why not professional? I'll tell you. You can see professional editor for both scientific and web web Python development with HTML, JavaScript, and SQL support. Means those who wants to work with Python script as well as with the Django framework, like web development framework purpose, for them I strongly recommend to download this professional editor. But we are not going to discuss with the Django applications. We are going to focus on only our core and advanced Python development only. So pure Python development purpose I'm using. So community version is enough, and it's also free and open source. You can see this. It's a completely free and open source. Understand? This is free and open source only which we have. It is free and open source. Once we have free and open source, now we can able to access lifetime here. This is community version, free and open source only it is. Understand? This is Python 3.9 version, and we are having JetBrains community, which is 2020 version is there, version number 2020 here. This is editor tool. Once you click on this community version, now it will ask you to what we can say. You can see this here. There is a PyCharm community.exe file is going to be downloading. Once you got this downloading file, Python 3. Python PyCharm editor .exe file. After getting .exe, then nothing to do for installation. It's very simple actually. You can go to download folder, double click on PyCharm community .exe like this. Let me show you. Once you successfully download that .exe file, you can go to download option. Then you can see this here. PyCharm professional editor is there in my computer. No problem. Let it be no problem. So you can see we can able to work with PyCharm community version also. Let me install community version also. How to do this? I'll show you. But before that, I'm trying to uninstall this professional editor, which will have already in my computer. Let me uninstall now. Okay. So which we have professional editor in my computer. Let me uninstall now. So after that, I'll show you how to installation process is happening. It's very simple installation process, nothing to worry here. Let's try to uninstall my PyCharm community. Let's uninstall. So I'm trying to do this uninstallation. I have already professional version. Let it be uninstalled to avoid confusion. So I'm going to delete this completely. So it's going to be downloading PyCharm community version, okay, which is having 297 MB. It is clearly. So let it be download that. Once download .exe, I'll do that installation steps, how it is possible. Here, simple way to making setup. So you also can do immediately. First step is required installation of Python software. Go to python.org, take Python 3.9.0. First, you have to install that software. Then after, you can come with JetBrains community version. You can install now. Okay. Once we making setup of Python is very simple. Within 5 minutes of time is enough to making setup all those things. It is nothing is there to install. More complication is not there. So it's very simple steps to install here. I'll show you. So it's still it is taking yes. Yes, once we got PyCharm community.exe file, so how to install that PyCharm version, I'm telling now, we can follow these steps. We can see it. Still it is downloading. Let it be complete. Yes, once we got completion, now we can see this. Let's go to download folder, which I shown you. So right now in my computer, there is no PyCharm editor so far. Okay. Now you can see PyCharm community version is there, 2022.3 version is there. This is PyCharm community version. Just double click over there. That's it. Nothing is there. Once you double click on that, now you can see. So what are the installation steps? This is very simple to install. Nothing need to select in the middle. Just install. Now say yes means it will proceed. Now you can see click on next, click on next, click on next. Nothing to change. Again install. That's it. Over. This is very simple. Within 1 minute of time, your PyCharm editor is completely available. From now onwards, you can create programs in PyCharm editor. This is good editor for Python beginners, especially those who don't know about Python. So I strongly recommend to practice using PyCharm editor. Sir, what is the advantage if I write code in PyCharm editor? What is the drawback if I write code, Python code in Notepad or normal editors like even Jupyter or Spider? So while typing the code, some intelligence will come. Intelligence means some suggestion box will come in the bottom corner, So that will avoid confusion. As a programmer, you can easily capture from over there. But once you started writing code in Notepad, so there is no intelligence. As a programmer, you only should take responsibility to take variables and methods and everything clarity. But here in PyCharm not like this. Once already you declare the variables and functions, that automatically it will pop up the intelligence. So it is easily to manage your code. That's what I strongly recommend in the initial stage PyCharm community. Even in real time, also most of the people will use this PyCharm editor only. So better to practice using PyCharm. Or else you can go through ideally of software also. That is basic editor which will come by default after installation of Python software. We are getting this ideally. Through this also you can go through it, no problem. Even in ideally also, we won't get any intelligence option. Intelligence means while typing the code in the bottom corner, some suggestion box will come, no? Some alert box or suggestion box that will not be available in Python ideally, as well as in Notepad or other editors like Edit Plus, NetBeans. No, exclusively PyCharm editor through only we will get that options. I'll show you now how to open PyCharm Community Edition for the first time when we are working with PyCharm editor, how to make setup, how to create projects, how to load files into that project also I'll tell you. Don't worry. Just wait few seconds and we are close to installation of this setup. But make sure that so directly can we install PyCharm editor? Don't do this. First step must and should do Python software. Like go to www.python.org. After that, you can download Python software 3.9.0, install it. After that, only how to download and install PyCharm editor. Now we can see completing PyCharm Community Edition setup. I'm finishing that. Now, once I finish that, again, how to enter into PyCharm editor, sir? Let's try to enter PyCharm editor. Go to search and type PyCharm. So now you can see PyCharm Community Edition 2020 is there. This is the latest version of PyCharm. You can click on that icon. So now you will be able to see that clearly. Now you can see this is the process to open PyCharm Community Editor. This editor through only I'm going to explain all our topics till the end of the session. But at last I will show you Spider and Jupyter Anaconda distribution for data analysis modules purpose I use. Okay, let's click on OK. It takes few minutes to load for the first time. Now here it will show you create new project. I'm trying to create a new project. Once I create new project, it will ask you to create a new project here. What project if you want, you can create that project name. So I'm going to create my project name like Python online at 8 a.m. I'm creating. So this is my project name which I'm giving. Okay, I'm going to save in G drive. So let's create that. Once I create, now you can see it is going to create Python online at 8 a.m. project. So it's creating virtual environment, and you can see this. Just close it now. So this is the platform where we use exactly Python code. We can write Python code, we can manage your code, add more Python files to this project. Your project name is right now Python online at 8 a.m. Project is nothing but collection of Python files, collection of Python programs. Okay. Yes. So just wait, it's creating virtual environment. Even in your computer also, for the first time when we are making setup, it will take time. Once it is finished virtual environment, it is ready to write the code here in this platform. But before going to write the code, you must and should create a file. What files? Python files you have to create that. One project is contain many number of files. Still it is taking time. Yeah, now it is ready. So you have only what actually this is the Python online at 8 a.m. is there. This is Python online at 8 a.m. By default here it is main.py is there. One file is coming. Directly when we execute this one, you can see this. When we go to run and run main, so you will get the main program like you can see this. Your output is available in this context only. You can see this. We are getting this output here. Hi PyCharm is there. Where is the hi PyCharm? This is hi. This is formatter string. The name is there PyCharm here. Okay. So here print hi PyCharm, it is there clearly. This is the main file. But if you want to create your own file, how to create your own file? Right click on this Python online at 8 a.m. Okay, this is your project name. Go to new and select the Python file. I am giving my file name is test here. .py is not required. Why not required? I'll tell you. You can see this. There are two options are there in front of you. Right click on Python online at 8 a.m. Go to new. If we select this file, it is a normal text file, plain text file. Means while giving file name, it will expect compulsory .py extension. When we go for Python file, means already you are selecting Python file, it is not required to give any .py extension. Okay, I'm selecting this one and test I'm writing. Press enter. Now you can see we are getting this test.py. Here we can type your own code, whatever you want. Just I'm trying to write my own code. Print option I'm taking. Now you can see when we try to print here. So even I'm trying to show you again. When we try to print some IntelliSense will come in the bottom corner. You can see as soon as when we try to type print option here, so IntelliSense option should come here in this bottom corner. It's not coming. Let's try to go with hello. Now you can see hello. I want to execute this one. To execute this one, you can see go to run, and there is a run main also there, main only there. But how do we shift into our logic? Now you can see test.py run this one. Here there is no test.py option is there. So why it is there? Why it is not there? But how I can run this my test.py? But still, when we go for run option, it is going to show run main only. It is coming. Okay. So if you want to run this your test.py, what you need to be, you can see this. Press Shift plus F10 to execute it or replace it with your code. Means you have to press Shift plus F10. So I'm going to press Shift plus F10 because I need to move to my code execution. So once we go for Shift plus F10, then you can see this, you will be able to see this your code only. So where it is your code, let's run this one. I'm going to here it is not moving properly. Shift plus F10 I'm taking. So it will ask you to move to your code. Let's run this one. We are unable to run. Yes, I'll tell you now, just a bit. I PyCharm only it is coming in the main, but we are not making that. Shift plus F10, we have to go there. Otherwise, we can go for edit configuration. Yes, Python interpreter is required. Once you go for edit configuration, then your Python main.py is available. You can see this. I'll tell you the clear steps. Don't worry. See here, one by default main.py file will come. When we go for run menu, and you can able to run main only. So every time main program only is going to execute it. But if you want to run your program, okay, you can see this here, test.py is there. So if you want to run this, it is not available to run here. You can see run, you can see run test. Automatically, you can see shift plus F10, run test is available here. Run test. Once you click on run test, now you can see we are getting our program execution here. Hello. Or else you can go to here and edit configuration also there. You can click on edit configuration once. After configuration, then it will prompt to test.py into your project. So once your test.py, right click over there, this tab, and click on run test, you will be able to see this execution. Or else you can go to run menu and run test is there. Like if you want to add more files, right click on it again. One more file I'm trying to add, like test1.py I'm taking now this time. In this test1.py, I'm writing code here 10 and b value 20. Print, you can see this. I'm trying to now you can see this is called IntelliSense. Highlighted box is coming. So print a plus b I want to do. But if you want to run this test1.py, which program you want to run, then on that program you can press tab key, and after that right click on it and run test1. We got the output clearly here. Okay, so this is what actually PyCharm editor through we can able to write programs here. This is the good practice in reality. Uh, Python program is PyCharm editor is good practice for Python programs, because some IntelliSense option is coming. As soon as whenever I type a value 10 already declared, but you can see when I type a is available in IntelliSense. This is called IntelliSense as well. Some suggestions will come from this IntelliSense box through. Okay, so these are the possible ways to execute Python script and to execute Python script and to run Python script like this only. So what are the possible ways? I said using interactive cell, that is using interactive mode, and script mode, that means write the code in notepad and execute in command prompt as well as in Python ideally. Or else if you want directly go through Python ideally software, there you can create new files and write the code and save with the .py extension. Or else you can go to PyCharm. Finally, we fixed with PyCharm only. From now onwards, throughout the logics, whatever the logics I cover, whatever the topics I cover in Python, that I can go through PyCharm only. The advantage of PyCharm editor is some IntelliSense options will come here. That's what we are getting here. But actually, don't go for Notepad editor. Why? Because suppose if I'm writing code like this in Notepad editor, you can see this. There is a problem, but all the code is not all the code will not get any problem with all the code, but some kind of code will get trouble in Notepad. For example, here I'm declaring a value 10. Okay, so here I'm just passing the condition if a equals to 10. Don't think so. This is different syntax. Actually, this it's not same as C language, C++ or Java syntax. It's look like different syntax. I'll explain you later if condition, else condition syntaxes. Just I want to show some different case here. Okay, for that I'm taking this example. And if a equals 10, what I need to do? Print true. I want to say that print true. Else part I'm taking colon, print false. This is completely if else syntax of Python only. Just observe this code here. Here I'm writing this code in Notepad, but my requirement is a value 10. I want to check the condition. Is 10 equal 10? Yes, it's correct. If it is correct, I need to print true. If else, I need to print false. This is my logic. So let's save this logic. I'm saving this Notepad script in my desktop again. My file name I'm giving sample.py. Okay, let's save it now. Now minimize it. It is ready to execute. But according to our logic, it has to return what's a true only, because a value 10 I declare, 10 equal 10, it's correct only, comparison is correct. Then when comparison is correct, then true. If comparison is not correct, then it is false. But look at here, I'm going to execute this sample.py in command prompt through. Let's go to command prompt open. and you can move to desktop because your file is present in desktop, cd space desktop. And how do we execute Python code? Python space, what is your file name? Sample.py. Now you can see this. We got error. Yes. What error is there? Look at here. Indentation error is coming. What is indentations are? Yes, Python indentation is very important here. Most of the people will get confusion in this context. Indentation is important here. See, indentation means what? Expected and indented block. Indentation means what? Generally in C, C++ programmers or Java, for if condition, consider the block of code. We use curly brackets, open curly brackets, close curly brackets we use. Like we are using like this only. Like in other languages code like this, if a equals to 10, the people used to say like this, print true. This is what actually to considering the block. Else block, open bracket, close bracket. Here I'm taking print false, I can say that. Means what? This is the logic which we write in C language or C++ or any language. Open bracket, curly, close curly bracket will make sense. This is the block of if block code. This is the code of else block code. But in Python, there is no curly brackets. So to consider the block of code, we use indentation. Indentation means 4 white spaces. Now you can see here 1, 2, 3, 4. Here also 1, 2, 3, 4. Instead of curly brackets, I'm using indentation spaces. Now this time this code will execute fine. Yes, look at here. I'm saving this by pressing Control S. After press Control S, you can go back to command prompt, execute same code again, sample.py. Is it going to be correct only? Not? Yes, it is correct. It's executing perfectly now. Previously, why it was not execute? Because indentation was missed. Indentation means what? As soon as when we type enter button here, cursor is blinking where? Starting of the line. But as a programmer, we can start with from here only. But if you start from here, it will not execute. Why? Because here no statements are present under the if block. That means this print statement is not considering of if block. This print statement is not considering of else block. All lines are individual lines. So there is no statements under if block. That's what it's showing indentation error. So this is the problem where we face in Notepad or other editors. Those who don't know Python syntax, they'll get confused. Compulsory, they'll get some indentation errors because that's what to avoid that. So you can use proper editor only. That is PyCharm editor is strongly recommend because while typing this kind of code in PyCharm editor, by default that PyCharm editor will leave the indentation space whenever it is required. So as a programmer, you need not to get any confusion over there. So indentation means 4 white spaces are required. At least 1 space is required, not only 4 spaces. But by default, all editors will take indentation is 4 white spaces. Even I am giving 1 space is enough here. Now you can see when we execute again. So Python space sample.py. So it will give proper execution. Okay. So this is the problem actually where we can write code in Notepad or other editors. You will get this kind of problems. Okay, if you know Python programs how to write very well, then you can use any editor, no problem. But as a beginning level, as a beginner, I will not recommend to write code in Notepad. So you can write code in any proper editor, so you will not at all get any confuse. Suppose let's write same code here in my PyCharm editor. A value 10. If a equals to 10. Now you can see as soon as when we press enter button where it is cursor is blinking after leaving indentation only 4 white spaces only it's blinking. So from there I can able to write my code. Else block again press enter. Indentation is clearly showing that. So no need to get confusion. You are going to execute happily the code here. Okay, true. If my value is 100, so it will compare 100 equal, then it's not correct. If it is not correct, it will go to else part, then it is false. Even if you're not following the indentation rules here also, wantedly or forcefully, I'm going to move back this cursor. If you run this code, now you can see this, you'll get some problem, indentation error again. So at least 1 space, but by default 4 spaces will take. So now indentation error is not there. So happily you can able to execute this code. This is correct. So this is what I'm expecting. So better to practice the code in PyCharm editor. So PyCharm is the best editor for Python beginners. So this is about today's session, which I'm explaining how many ways what are the possible ways to write Python script and execute, like interactive shell script mode, like Notepad way, or else Python ideally directly can go to Python ideally. There you can create new file and type the code and save with .py and execute. Or else you can come to directly PyCharm editor and create files as many as you want under one project. Okay, then you can execute like this only clearly. So throughout our sessions, maximum uh, concepts will cover in PyCharm editor only. Our editor is PyCharm editor. So you also make setup quickly today itself. Don't wait, because I started slowly programming part. Once I started programming part, then you should keep on practice with PyCharm editor only. So first step, what we need to do, Python 3.9.0 you have to install and download. You have to download and install. Then after PyCharm editor also you have to download and install. How to download and install already I have shown it clearly. Which website you have to go there. So you can make that setup. It's very simple. 5 minutes of time is enough to making this setup, Python software. Once you have this setup, then you can keep on practice, keep on writing the programs like this only. Okay. So that's all about today's session. So in this session, we got a clarity of which editor is required, how to make Python setup and installation and downloading the software. So it's easy to maintain the software, no problem at all. Okay. So in tomorrow's session, we'll continue more fundamentals, rules and regulations in Python script we'll discuss. Okay. Do you have any questions? Now you can ask me, no problem. And those who are coming today only, so like this is your first session. Okay, I strongly recommend to watch my last video, which was there in our YouTube channel. I strongly recommend to watch this video. You can stay here, go to Google and type YouTube and go to Durgasoft YouTube channel. Okay, I hope so. This video also they'll upload in YouTube channel. Don't worry. Those who are new to this session, I strongly recommend to watch my previous video here, Durgasoft. Type Durgasoft. Now you can click on this Durgasoft YouTube channel, and there is a all videos you can click on there. And last session, whatever I discussed, that video also available. I strongly recommend to watch that video. You can see this. Now, this is the video which, yes, Python demo one by Mr. Mohan Reddy. You can watch it last session, what I covered. That is introduction part. And today they'll upload this video also. Like 4 to 5 videos they'll upload for demo purpose. Okay, you can watch those who missed that. And you can continue that. Anyway, I have already downloaded that videos, that recorded videos also. I'll send to you later once I got confirmation from my team. So they'll give mail IDs, those who are confirmation students. For them, I'll send all videos and materials daily basis. Okay. Yes. So that's all about today. So see you tomorrow at same time on same link. Any questions from your side? Yes. No, we will not cover any projects. As I discussed in the last session also, project means you have to take the course of Django. So this is not Django completely. Only core and advanced Python we will cover. Completely programming level we'll discuss, not project level. Project level, if you want, then you can go for Django framework. Web development, that is. We can design websites and web pages. Inside that Python code we can write. So if you take Django course, then they'll cover project. But here no scope to discuss with project because it is completely console windows. Console means already complete. Logically we will discuss. So you'll become a programmer when we go for this course. But if you want to go for project kind of thing, compulsory you have to go for Django course. After completion of Python course, I strongly recommend to learn Django if you want to go for projects and all. Anyone? Any other questions? Okay. See you tomorrow at same time on same link. Okay. Have a nice day.